Hey everybody, guess what? We're back. This is African Frame Podcast. I'm not alone as usual. I'm with Rob Sibeko, and he has a monster in his background, which is something different. uh, and, for those who do not know, if you're the first, if it's your first time checking us out, just know that we dissect films. We do any genre. We do animation. We do romantic comedies. We do thrillers, and any other genres that you can think of. So yeah, this is African Frame. I'm Mr. Extraordin, and this is Rob Sibeko. He's a writer, he's a director, and he knows a lot about film and a lot about trivia. I could say the same about myself. But anyway, today we just wanted to do something light. Previously we did action films in a row. We did Police Story, then we did Ronin. So this time around, we're just going to be doing a romantic comedy. This is probably the first romantic comedy we're doing on our show, and it's Bridget Jones' Diary. Um, was it your first time watching it, Rob?
No. I watched it when I was much younger. I think I had a British comedy phase at some point in my life. This was
I get you.
a comeback, yeah.
I get you, and I think I also had a British comedy phase as well. I mean, the SABC played a lot of British romcom comedy. I mean, you remember Mind Your Language?
Of course.
Yeah, in the early 90s, and yeah, I mean, that's how you started getting to know some of these British actors. And Harry Potter even made it worse because some of the people you already liked were in Harry Potter.
Exactly.
But anyway, this is a film that came out in 2001. It stars Renee Zellweger, Hugh Grant, and Colin Firth. It also has Gemma Jones or Gemma Jones and Jim Broadbent or Broadbent. So basically, if we were to break those down, would say that Renee Zellweger is an American actress. She has appeared in films such as Chicago. She was in what's this movie now? Judy, which is the story of Judy Garland. She was also in what's this movie that I'm like the names keep disappearing for some weird reason. Remember that movie with Jim Carrey? Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was also in Jerry Maguire.
Yep.
And then you have Colin Firth. Colin Firth has been in Nanny McPhee, The King's Speech, The Kingsman's Secret Service.
Yes.
What else is Love Actually? I mean, I'm a huge Colin Firth fan. I love the man. I mean, he was also in the girl with the girl with the pearl earring. Um, and then you have Hugh Grant, who was actually gonna replace Charlie Sheen in Two and a Half Men, but I think he turned it down, and then Ashton Kutcher came in.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I think it would have been interesting to have him there. I still like the Ashton Kutcher thing, but I wonder how it would have been like if Hugh Grant came in.
More Charlie Sheen, because you have to remember, Hugh Grant was like almost, I don't want to say the OG Charlie Sheen, but Hugh Grant there's a reason he's in so many of these types of movies.
Yeah.
He's the David Beckham of romcom, man. Him and Matthew McConaughey, they are, yeah. It was
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, he's been in so many things. I mean, I remember he was in American Dreams, which is a film that I hope we'll do one day. He was in Music and Lyrics with Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
Butter Boy, 2 Weeks Notice, Notting Hill, which for me, I think I would say it's one of his best films, in my opinion. Like Notting Hill is really, really, really good.
All opposite. They're opposites here. Like talk about characters. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that I've always wondered about Hugh Grant is why didn't he feature in Harry Potter? Like he's like one of the people that should have been there. Him.
Yeah.
And Colin Firth. Colin Firth would have been a great professor. Even Hugh Grant would have been a great professor. But I guess it
would have actually been a good Lockhart. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I like what's his face? Oh no,
Colinfirth?
no. Eric Brana. I think that's his name. The guy who plays Professor Lockhart.
Yes.
Grant would have been a good Professor Lockhart as well as the former playboy with a dark side.
Right.
The egotistical lover boy that all the ladies love. Hugh Grant could have done that as well. So yeah.
That is true. That is true. And you have Jim Broadbent. He is a familiar face. Maybe I think for people like us,
Yeah.
who are not in the UK,
Yes.
when you see him, he's a familiar face. You've seen him in a lot of films. I mean, he's been in the Harry Potter films.
That's what I know him for. Yes.
Yeah, he's been in the Chronicles of Narnia. He's been in Hot Fuzz, in Paddington, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, Cloud Atlas. So he's been in a lot of stuff. He's also been in Game of Thrones, and then Gemma Jones, or Gemma Jones, I just don't know how you pronounce.
Yes. Say Gemma, yeah.
She's been in the Harry Potter series. You'll meet a tall, dark stranger, which came out in 2010. And then she's been in a film series called Marvelous, Rainbow City, The Duchess of Duke Street, Spooks. I've always been meaning to watch Spooks. I don't know when I'm gonna watch it, but I want to watch it. Teacup Travels, Diana and I, and Gentleman Jack. I think the only thing that we haven't mentioned so far is the director, Sean Maguire. It just seems like
Sharon, female lady.
Sorry, Sharon. Yeah. Oh, my apologies, Sharon Maguire. I mean, she's done Bridget Jones' Baby, which is you could say is the third film.
Yes, even though I don't know anything about it, that part blew my mind. That there's a third one. I knew about Edge of Reason. I had no idea there's a third. What? I had no idea. I thought it ended at 2. I was even like, what kind of trilogy is this? I blew my mind, dude.
That is crazy, dude. You should check it out, man. You should really check it out.
I literally will. We're gonna finish this trilogy on this show, definitely.
I enjoyed all 3. And I think what made me enjoy the third one, despite Hugh Grant not appearing in it, was, you had Emma Thompson, which is something that I actually wanted us to talk about. I've always gotten the idea or the feeling that Emma Thompson and Hugh Grant are like twins separated from, like, somewhere in the universe. They just separated. They were meant to be twins from the same mother and father, but there was a glitch in the system because they have the same mannerisms. They have this, I don't know, they're just so similar. You know what I mean?
Energy, yeah.
They have similar energy, similar timing, similar acting. It's as if you're watching Joan Cusack and Joan Cusack. You know what I mean? It's like you're like, whoa, okay. Facial expressions, everything. That's a movie that we need to watch. Sorry, did I lose you?
Yep. You froze for a second.
Sorry, I was just saying that there's actually a movie where they're actually brother and sister. And I'm sure whoever saw that was like, yeah, like I'm sure he saw what I saw. You know what I mean? And I think there's also a movie where they're a couple. So yeah, I love both of them. I really do. Those are my people. But anyway, yeah, that's the cast. So.
But wait, I was trying to talk more about the thing. She's only got about 13 movies, and the other biggest movie that she done was Incendiary, the one with Ewan McGregor. I don't know much about it, but I know it did okay.
What are we talking about?
Sharon Maguire. She's got about 13 film credits, including TV shows. So not the biggest film credit list, but definitely she's out there, pushing. Yeah, so shout out, not that many lady directors you see now. You know what I mean? So it's always good to remember her name whenever you can when it comes to lady directors.
I get you. I think, yeah, we need to do a bit of more rom-coms. I mean, there's someone that I really want us to touch on as well called Nancy Meyers.
All right.
Which is someone that Quentin Tarantino actually hails as one of the best directors out there. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course, the Barbie director as well.
Yeah.
Uh, it's
Greta
great.
Gerwig. I love that woman, man. I
Uh,
love that woman.
I mean, of course, we've talked about Kathy Jenkins already.
Patty Jenkins.
Jenkins as well.
Yes.
Did she do Monster?
I don't know who did Monster. Was that a woman that did Monster?
She didn't do Hurt Lock. Let me see who did Monster. But yeah, Charlize Theron's Monster was definitely.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Okay. I mean, we also have Ava DuVernay.
Renee, yes.
Yeah, I think those are the ones that come to mind. I'm sure there are a couple of others that we can think of, but yeah, they're just not coming to mind. I mean, some of them are actresses already. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Don't forget about yeah, but yeah, there's quite a few people. Hurt Locker, of course, she won Best Film.
What did she direct?
Gosh, let me just get the name for Monster. Let me just get the name. Oh yeah, Patty Jenkins did Monster. Yes, that was yeah, Oscar-winning Kath thingamajiggy. Yes, and then Hurt Locker was also a lady director. Um, the one that won the Oscar for Best Film, absolute master. There we go, Catherine Bigelow. Because I keep saying her name and then attaching it to the wrong film. Catherine, there we go.
What did she direct?
Hurt Locker, the Oscar-winning movie. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Dude, there's a scene where they spend like 10 minutes of two snipers, Anthony Mackie and Jeremy Renner, are like trying to snipe a target in an insanely far distance. And they're both sniping at each other. These two are sniping at another pair. And it's just, you just see the dirt accumulate, because in the desert. So sand is accumulating on their bodies, dirt is accumulating on their bodies as they sit there aiming, trying to get the wind right.
Isn't this the movie about the soldiers?
Yes, a soldier film, but it's about Jeremy Renner, who's basically an explosive expert.
Dude, I saw the movie.
Yes. Yep.
We need to do a review about that movie. Ooh, you know, this is one of those movies where I don't know about you, but you know, back in the day when you're just channel hopping on DSTV, and then you just watch a familiar face, you're like, okay, let me just watch, and then it blows your mind. That's one of those movies.
Exactly. That's power. That's star power right there. We used to like stop because someone is there. Yeah. Right. When you go to a cinema and you're like, oh, I don't want to watch. Oh, Will Smith is doing something. Let's go watch that. It doesn't exist anymore, really. It's been cut back pretty dramatically. But yes, yes, you're absolutely right. And this one, you know how Ronin, right? Because I love to talk about the movies we've already discussed. Because those ones we know we've watched them, we paid attention and we watched them. Right. But in Ronin, I talked about the rising tension all the time. But then it kind of cuts off halfway through the movie and becomes a different movie. Now, Hurt Locker, it never turns that thing off, man. It just keeps going from the beginning to the end.
100%. Yeah. It is purely focused on the tension in when you're in the field.
Yeah, because
that's what it's about.
Guys are stressing out. This is obviously wrecking them. More and more and more. Anthony Mackie is hating Jeremy Renner, but he can't say anything, and it just keeps growing and growing, and that's great directing, right?
Yeah, man, that's a movie that we need to do a bookmarking thing. That's a movie that, because you know, you would swear that they didn't work in Avengers already, and the chemistry is crazy.
Yes,
you know, the chemistry is crazy in that movie. Wow. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Yes. One more thing, I should talk about the writers as well, because the writers blew my mind a little bit.
Okay.
There's three writers. Three writer credits. Helen Fielding, who has very limited writing credits, very few movies. Then you get Andrew Davies. Does that name sound familiar?
Who? Anthony Davis.
Andrew Davies.
Andrew Davis, no.
Yeah, it doesn't. But this person has done so many movies. He did all the Bridget Jones movies. So did Helen Fielding. She did all the Bridget Jones movies. And this guy did the Three Musketeers movie with Paul W.S. Anderson, and a Brit series and a few minutes. He has over 90 credits. That's crazy.
Wait. Paul W.S. Anderson, which Three Musketeers movie was that? Is that the one that came out with one of the
The one with Orlando Bloom and blimps for some reason. Yeah, it's a very weird movie. Paul W.S. Anderson is one of the most weirdest directors of all. Because he did Mortal Kombat, then he did Death Race, and then does a movie like Three Musketeers. This man loves to do weird movies where it's like,
Right.
I'm not even sure what your vision is, but I'm happy to see it. You know what I mean?
I get you. I get you. I get you.
I can see more Mila Djokovic. I love that woman.
I wouldn't be shocked if he's the one that directed. I know he didn't, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's the one that did Wonka. Because when I saw some scenes in there, I'm like, yo, the overacting here is insane.
That movie, people are laughing at it. People are saying it's good. So I'm curious.
I wonder if it's biased because of Timothy Chalamet or if it's because of Hugh Grant's comic bits. I mean, Hugh Grant is an Oompa Loompa, bro. You know?
It's so weird. It's so weird.
But when I saw some scenes that are so overacting, I'm like, okay, clearly they're bringing back a genre that we haven't seen in a very long time.
All right.
Yeah. So
now, yeah.
So you said the first person is Andrew?
That's Andrew Davis, and the last person is Richard Curtis. Now, this is someone I didn't know I loved until now. He's done Love Actually. It's at a Funeral. About Time, The Boat That Rocked, War Horse, Beam, the animated series, Notting Hill.
What animated series?
Mr. Bean, the animated series. The other Mr. Bean movie too. Notting Hill is here, and he did Blackadder season 4. Like, this man, his name is attached to some of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Wow, it's amazing because some of the projects that he has written have Hugh Grant in them.
Yes.
Notting Hill. You mentioned Notting Hill. You mentioned Love Actually.
Yes.
And you also mentioned there's another one that you mentioned that has Hugh Grant in it. Crazy.
Is he in 4 Weddings and a Funeral?
Yeah, 4 Weddings and a Funeral. That's Hugh Grant.
That one. Oh.
I haven't seen it. I've seen it. I saw it when I was a kid. I need to watch it.
It is so funny. Even as a kid, I remember laughing my ass off. And just Mr. Bean is in it as well. Rowan Atkinson, yeah.
Wait, who's the other writer?
Andrew Davies, Helen Fielding, who's basically her only writing credits are basically all 3 Bridget Jones diaries.
Oh, okay.
So that's her baby. And then Andrew Davies and Richard Curtis are the ones that done all these other movies.
I do know that Bridget Jones is based on a book. So I wonder if she's not the one that maybe wrote the book. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably why her credits are so limited. And then she's maybe the author or something. That's a good
one. Just give me a second. Let me just double check here.
Yeah.
Bridget Jones' Diary is a novel by Helen Fielding.
You are right.
Boom! What do you know? Anyway, let's get into it, man. You know, and it's weird, man. As I was doing some research, I'm like, look, at first, I guess you would say that Reneezellweger is one of those people where you're not sure whether she's British or American, because she has the look of, I don't know how to explain it, but she can blend anyway, basically. Yeah. So there was some backlash, a bit of backlash that an American is going to play a famous fictional character that is British, right?
Yeah, it's like having because wasn't there an issue with Lord of the Rings? He came in last minute, but Aragorn.
Oh yeah. What's his name again?
Viggo Mortensen.
Yes, Viggo. Yes.
Yeah, I think there was an issue there because I remember they fired the guy that was there already. They're like, nah, dude, you're not doing it. And then they pulled in Viggo in last minute, I believe. Or there was some other issue. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Yeah, he was last minute. He wasn't the main guy. In the same way that Marty McFly wasn't the main guy. Except they hadn't shot as much.
I remember he was. I mean, if they even make a joke about in the Flash film.
Yes, nice catch. Yes, exactly.
But, Michael J. Fox knocked it out of the park, man.
Absolutely. It's nice when a writer can decide to kill your darlings, or rather break the cycle. You know, the sunken cost fallacy, where you're too deep, and now you're scared to break out. These directors weren't scared. They were like, okay, man, it looks like we're too deep, but no, he's not right. So.
Because I actually saw something Okay, there's two things I want to say. The first thing is, I think that's the problem. I think you mentioned this before. That's the problem of having an actor in mind when you're writing a story.
Mm.
You need to be careful about that because what if it doesn't work out? But there's
Yes.
someone, I think Bill Bellamy, he was talking to who's this guy again? I think it's I forgot this guy's name. I think it's Corey something. He's a comedian, a white comedian. He was in Think Like a Man, Act Like a Lady. So they were just talking, and Bill Bellamy was saying when they did Any Given Sunday,
Oh,
the role that Jamie Foxx ultimately had was initially
cities, yes.
his role, apparently, but he couldn't throw a ball properly. You know what I'm saying? Like Bill Bellamy was saying that, when you're throwing a ball with your weak hand, which is maybe like your left hand, Didi was just throwing that with his best hand. And they were like, okay, this is, Gary Owen. Yeah, I was talking to Gary Owen. So yeah, Bill Bellamy was like, clearly that didn't work. That's why they got Jamie Foxx. Like apparently in Any Given Sunday, if you're gonna be playing the role of a footballer,
Yeah.
you need to be an athlete.
Yeah.
Already. You need to at least have played something. And I guess Didi didn't cut it. It could have been a different movie with Didi, I guess.
And I think it also has to do with him being a team player as well. Like I think there's an element of team playerism there. Like like
With Jamie Foxx.
no, with P Diddy, I think there was an element there as well, because is it Martin Stone or Scorsese? I keep forgetting. It's Martin Stone, Oliver Stone, right?
Stone, yeah.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, it was also a story about him saying, "Nah, dude." He was done with P Diddy. Like he was. I think it was even beyond that. Yeah. He was saying, "I'm going to give myself a present. I'm going to fire P Diddy, dude." So that tells you something.
Oliver Stone is the one who directed Any Given Sunday.
Okay, it's either him. It's not Scorsese. But
No,
I'm 90% sure it's Oliver Stone.
I don't think it's Scorsese.
Yeah, I think it's Oliver Stone.
It's definitely not Scorsese.
Let me just confirm that. I'm 70% sure.
You're right. It's Oliver Stone.
Yes!
Today we are on a roll, guys.
See, there's a style to Oliver Stone. I can't explain it. It's not Scorsese-like. There's a freedom to Scorsese. I don't know how to explain it, but there's not a uniform mentality. What's the word? I feel like Scorsese and Oliver Stone are similar in a way, but there's a looseness more to Scorsese, or rather a realness, I could say.
Interesting. There's a movie that I want us to do by Oliver Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the first ever Oliver Stone film that we'll probably cover before we do all the others is a movie called Heaven Earth or Heaven and Earth.
Oh.
That's a movie it's about Vietnam. We need to do that movie.
So I know Platoon is Oliver Stone. I didn't know he did another one. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
You know Platoon with Charlie. Is it Charlie Sheen? Eh? It's Charlie Sheen in Platoon.
Is it? Oh yes, it is, because I think
William Dafoe, yeah.
I remember in Hot Shot Part 2, there's a moment where the character, his dad's character from Apocalypse Now,
yes,
meets his character from Platoon, and they greet each other. Hey, how you doing, man? I'm like, oh, that is smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to the movie, guys.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I think you guys need to understand that the first 30 minutes is just going to be about trivia, because I feel like that's the template, even though it's never planned. But I feel like the first 30 minutes, expect a lot of trivia.
Yeah, but I feel like trivia is important. I feel like trivia matters. You'll never talk me out of trivia being important, man. It matters.
100%. 100%.
Cool. So, cool. So we'll start with the opening image. The opening image is of snowfall, and our lead, Bridget Jones, with her narrating her own story in past tense. She's setting up how it all began. It's kind of a twist. It's kind of a simplification of "you may be wondering how we got here" meme kind of thing, without a sense of chaos. This is a tricky game when it comes to narration. Right off the bat, people consider it a loss if you use narration because it's giving up the audio-visual medium. Personally, I think that's wrong because all writing techniques are a tool. Just like everything else, it can be overused, yes. It can be used the wrong way, but it can still affect can be an effective way to get a point across.
Right.
In this point, it's a diary.
No.
We're reading a diary, so
it makes sense.
Yes.
It reminds me of Doug. I don't know if you remember Doug.
Of course, I remember Doug. Dude, I almost remember the song. Yeah, dude, I remember that shit.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, the advantage of a book, right, is that you can use a character's thought process as a part of the narrative.
Right.
The way to do that in a movie is generally through narration, which is why many people will disapprove because it's almost too easy. But message to all writers out there: use any tool you want. Life will determine if it's a good or a bad tool.
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, you can tell this is a romance because the first thing that's discussed is her life, and how her mother will be impacting it. Love is a target in the story in the same way money is a target of a heist. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same core principles of an action movie, if you think of it. This is where we're going. This is the point. It kind of reminds me of did you ever watch Community, the TV show Community?
Yes. Which has the Russo brothers who were heavily involved.
Yes, they have episodes. Yes, which is so shocking.
Yeah. It's crazy that those guys that did that sitcom directed Avengers.
Wow.
How is that even possible?
Yes, and they put every if you pay attention, you can actually see all the characters from Community show up every now and then. In Captain America not in Civil War, in Winter Soldier, you see Abed. In
it was Abed in there?
Yes. He's one of the computer technicians who they talk to him and they're like, I need you to do this or else. And he's the computer technician.
Oh, flip.
Yeah, and you see Shirley as on the elevator when they go.
Yes, in Endgame.
Yes.
In Endgame, yes.
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 I'm not sure the entire list of who's there yet. I'm sure there's more people who probably see more Community characters.
Well, there's someone that does feature in one of the Marvel movies, but they didn't direct it though.
Yeah.
Who was it? Donnie Glover in Spider-Man.
Yes, Donnie Glover, but it wasn't their baby. Yes, you're right. But anyway, yeah. Point is, use whatever tools you want. Anyway, point is, is that what I like about Community is that it's they'll take a simple premise, and then they'll make something silly the point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like Rick and Morty type of thing.
Exactly, but like it's more because it's based in real life instead of unique sci-fi concepts. It just comes off as crazy, like the Dungeons and Dragons episode, one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Right.
Where it's like, this is about Dungeons and Dragons, but yes, that's exactly what it's about, and it follows, and it's fantastic. So sometimes what happens with these storylines, my point is that what happens with these storylines is when someone thinks, romance, they get tired immediately. But they don't know the flow of storytelling. It doesn't matter if it's a romance or an action film, there's a general flow that you can follow.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you see it the right way. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, we follow Bridget Jones making her way out of the camp, out of the taxi, to a house party her mother's in charge of. She comes inside and is met by her mother. She loves her mother, but thinks of her as behind the times.
Right.
Mother talks about the Darcys, which is no doubt a connection to the movie and famous novel Pride and Prejudice, unironically played by the same lead actor as the TV series version. Colin Firth was Mr. Darcy in that one.
How convenient.
Yeah.
So did Pride and Prejudice come out before Bridget Jones, the TV series?
I believe it did, but the name Mr. Darcy is like 100 years old, so
yeah, for sure.
Are over 100 years old, yes.
Because I think I did read somewhere that it's sort of like a retelling of Pride and Prejudice.
I wouldn't be surprised because Pride and Prejudice is 2005, and I believe oh gosh, when did the other ones come out now?
Bridget Jones came out in 2001.
Oh, interesting. But I'm sure. So I guess maybe it was a coincidence.
Oh, you're right. Because he played Mr. Darcy in 1995.
Oh, so okay. So they did play into it. Okay.
Yeah, no, they definitely did. They definitely did. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something. Yeah. Anyway, her mother chastises her on her winter clothes and tells her to get changed, which is funny because even though her original clothes were really frumpy, like unattractive as fuck, the outfit she comes in is just as bad. Like she's just out here in all red with these weird Christmas colors. It's crazy.
Right.
As I've stated before, but I'm sure you've noticed, one of the key themes is Bridget Jones' love life. Like that's been the point nonstop.
Yes.
Though in under 5 minutes, this is still the key theme that's stated pretty early on. We get a common but funny mom-dad dichotomy where the mom is eager to set up the dad as We get a common but funny mom and dad dichotomy where the mom is eager to set her up for a relationship and the dad is almost undermining her individual choices.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And funny enough, this becomes important. Yeah.
Yeah. The impression that I get, even from the beginning, is the dad is more of an intellect. The mom is more bubbly, extroverted. And I guess you could say that Bridget has her dad's intellect, but she's really trying, to, I guess, how can I put it? To relate with the mother when it comes to her being an extrovert, but most of her efforts just don't work because that's not who she is. She's not her mother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right. She ends up leaning more towards the dad, and it ends up becoming a problem that is mentioned later on. It ends up impacting the entire storyline, which I think in a more modern movie would have been left behind. It's surprisingly important. But anyway, another thing to notice is how high the jokes per minute are. It's a very dry British humor with sharp, clever dialogue, and that I'm absolutely loving. At 3 minutes 30-second marks, we finally meet Colinfirth, aka Mr. Darcy. Now, in Hollywood, or rather in romance, there's something called a meet cute. Basically, it's the eyes meet across the room, a beautiful romantic moment where the main character and the male or female interest meet each other and sparks come off. This one comes off fantastically, hilariously, because it goes horribly wrong. Bridget, who's been this sarcastic, dry, witty person, at least in her mind, in her narration,
right,
just comes off as a babbling brook. She cannot stop talking for some reason.
Right.
She just can't stop herself, and she keeps rambling the most awkward things, and before she knows it, he's completely put off.
Which is anticlimactic.
Yes.
At least, because she blew it.
Yeah.
I mean,
completely.
Everybody else gave them space so that, something could happen between them, but she blew it.
She was under pressure, but she somehow fumbled a bag. You know what I mean? The bag wasn't even in her hands, it was on the floor, and she fumbled it somehow.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well. And I think one of the reasons why I love this movie so much is, look, Reneezellweger is not an ugly woman, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, she has been playing, female love interests in other movies and stuff. Finding her, seeing her having so many flaws in a movie, for me, brings life to this character, You know what I mean? Like, it makes it more interesting to find an attractive woman not being perfect,
What's funny is that you say that. I think I probably make a note of it before, but there's this thing that I don't make a note of this, but I've mentioned it to you before, I think. I told you about the stupid character thing. Ichigo, Goku, Naruto, and Tina Fey.
And who?
Tina Fey from 30 Rock.
Wait, is Ichigo a stupid character?
Well, you think about it. He refuses to learn things. Know what? He has to be important things that happen have to be explained to him almost repeatedly until things get dramatic. He's unable to participate. He goes straight forward into anything, and people get upset at him about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, And Liz Lemon in 30 Rock was an idiot?
Well, think about it. What made her dumb is that she, first of all, she was the straight man, number one, right?
Yeah.
Crazy things were happening around her.
Uh-huh.
But because everything around her was crazy, but it was successfully crazy. If you think about it, how many times was Tracy right? How many times was
And it's weird because you would expect that Tracy was not, like, you would think that Tracy's the dumbest one there, but he wasn't.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
Even the dumb other lady who's always selfish.
The blonde, yeah.
She used to get a lot of W's if you actually stop and think about it. And sometimes, in actual fact, a lot of the times when Liz would win would be when she embraced the crazy and she let herself go.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, in my opinion, when Tina Fey plays her phones, she's normally, I won't say the dumbest person there, because again, that's a trick with these things. Naruto is not the dumbest person there. He's actually really intelligent, especially when it comes to fighting.
Goku, same thing.
Goes also hyper intelligent, but their simplicity ends up painting them as a little bit dumb. So the main characters look down on them, but
right.
you relate to them. You relate to them. They're relatable.
Right.
Reneezellweger, you can't write a woman like this today.
Bro, you simply cannot.
It would be the most sexist thing you've ever done in your life if you were to write a woman like this.
I guess that's why I prefer old stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
Because for me, old stuff has a certain sense of realism that is not captured today. Today, people are too safe.
Yes.
No, back then, showing a woman wearing granny panties was not offensive.
And they roast her for it, dude. Like, it's hilarious. Like, nowadays, it would be a sign of patriarchy if you saw granny panties. Exactly. How dare you? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's so, oh my God, I'm going to go into this later, because all the things people are trying to say today, because again, I think modern day movies are trying to tell us a message instead of just telling a story.
Right.
Because if you actually think about it, Bridget Jones, especially when I went over the actual individual plot beats, my God, the message people are trying to tell today, Bridget Jones was low-key telling in the background. But I'm going to save that for later. You'll understand later what I'm talking about. Because it's crazy. Cool. Carrying on. Again, she flops. She fumbles the bag. This culminates in Mr. Darcy awkwardly walking off, only for less than a minute later for Mr. Darcy to end up speaking about her in the worst way possible.
Dude, like he dropped like 10 bags after that. Like,
dog!
He made it super worse.
Dog, he could have been worse in a rap battle. You know what I mean? This man was out here throwing rap battle bars, dude. That was that mean. It's so much funnier when they turn around and they discover that she's right behind them.
Yo, bro.
Just classic. And despite the fact that she's the one in the bad position, she's the one awkwardly trying to pretend like that shit didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious. Right. The moment is so awkward and cringy. The camera, 80s style, freeze frames. That shit is 80s shit. And it happens in a 2005 movie, a freeze frame. In the movie, in the middle of the movie.
I'm to the camera when I was like, I'm not moving. Like, this is even weird for me.
Oh my God. It's so bad that she literally decides to change her life. Ironically, the movie Pride and Prejudice in the original Meet Cute is also a bit of a disaster. Where Mr. Darcy looks down. Well, Mr. Darcy looks down on her, at least in the Keira Knightley version. Right. Have you seen that, by the way?
No, I think that's a movie that I need to. Funny enough, when we were talking about Keira Knightley last week, I forgot to mention Pride and Prejudice. I think that's a movie that we really need to touch on.
It is a masterpiece.
Oh, is it?
I think that'll be my next movie. The fact that you haven't seen it is making me mad. I feel like we can't even discuss other movies until we watch Pride and Prejudice. Like, I want that to be my next movie. Like, I'm not even kidding at this point.
Okay.
Genuinely. Because you have to remember something. This book was written over 100 years ago.
Right.
And the things that are kind of being discussed, because I think that it hasn't been modernized for a modern day audience, this thing. You know what I mean?
Which is a good thing.
Yes, it's been transferred. Obviously, you know, in those days, books were like this big. So obviously they've had to cut things out. But
Right.
it's genuinely a brilliant movie with Donald Sutherland in there. Dude, the cast is amazing. In fact, there's even some characters from here, I believe, in there. But yeah, anyway.
Just want to say that I think, I've been asking myself this question a lot this year specifically about this year and last year, I think, about old books, books that have stood the test of time, like your Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain
There we
and
go.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes series.
Yes, my God.
Or who's this guy, man? There's this guy who wrote The Invisible Man, and he wrote what is the time travel
He did War of the Worlds as well. I had this book in the back.
H.G. Wells, I think.
Yes, H.G. Wells, yes.
And then you also have whoever wrote Pride and Prejudice, and you also have the Chronicles of Narnia as well as Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I mean, you also have Alexander Dumas with the Three Musketeers.
You're forgetting my favorite movie of all time, my favorite book of all time, literally my favorite book of all time. It is the greatest novel. And when she wrote it, not he, she wrote it.
It's over 100 years old?
Yeah, Frankenstein. It is considered the first sci-fi. It is older than H.G. Wells. It is older than H.G. Wells. It is older than Thingamajiggy. She wrote it when she was 18 years old, bro.
What the hell, man?
This movie is, it just goes to show, yeah, our generations are in trouble.
This goes back to what I'm trying to say. Like, I often wonder what inspired these people to write such timeless books. I often wonder, and I'm sure even F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby is probably over 100 years old now. But what I'm trying to figure out is, sure, there were no TVs for the most part with these people, but what made them so creative to come up with content that would outlast, like that would...
Theory, yeah.
Yeah, what's the theory? Let's hear it.
Belief. You have to remember something. These were Mark. If you look up Mark Twain's life, you're gonna blow your top. That man's life is almost magnificent.
He did say I think in like just before the first chapter, I think, of Tom Sawyer, he does say that some of the Avengers in this book are based on true events, and I actually mixed a few of my friends together as well as my own life in this thing, So yeah.
Mary Shelley was a scholar, a brilliant woman, and heavily Christian. If depending on who you talk to, Frankenstein is a Christian metaphor in terms of it being what's the word? Man trying to create life as the consequence of man trying to create life, trying to play God. Right. You know what I mean? That's kind of what's happening there. That's kind of the message there that she was talking, because she was heavily Christian. What's his face? Oh God. Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. I forgot his name now. Terrible. Heavily Christian man was like.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Exactly.
The lion is like Christ.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do a Christian algorithm. Algorithm. Jesus, it's not AI. Allegory. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm just trying to find his name.
Back.
Oh, C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis, yes. And him and Lord of the Rings guy Tolkien were friends.
Yeah, they were telling me about that. I didn't know.
Yeah, and he was a scholar, an intense scholar who loved languages and loved epic tales like Beowulf. And he was like, "Hey, where's the British one?" So he made it himself. He was like, "Nah, I'll do it." Man already could speak multiple languages, knew how to learn languages, so he did all his research. He basically took his real life research love and then turned that into a book. Like that man. So there was this element of time, number one, and passion, and raw passion. You know what I mean? Nowadays, much information around us that I think it's almost impossible not to get ahead of your passion with information sometimes, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So now, instead of just telling a great story or having this wealth of knowledge that you can steal from and then telling a great story, what we end up trying to do is just take this information and just pump it into the story. Do you know what I mean? Without like really filtering it and creating a solid action.
That is true. And I think that's why some critics would say things like, what threw them off is someone over explaining, whether it's book critics or film critics, over explaining, I'll say maybe a game of poker.
Mhm.
Like what you're showing me that you did the research.
Yeah.
But you're not cleverly doing it through the story.
Yeah.
That's why Aaron Sorkin, I think in his masterclass, spoke something very crucial about. I think he has some students, and he spoke about one of the students was doing like a scenario where there's like a what's this thing? A terrorist in the airplane,
Mhm.
and then Aaron Sorkin's criticism of that script that one of the students wrote was, I want to know what the air hostess would say in such a situation to keep everybody calm in the plane.
Mm.
You know, that's the bit of information that you would need to know, but not overdo it. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes. For example, yes, you're fantastically right. Tolkien talks about this, where he talks about basically he'll talk about like what's it called again? The Silmarillion is a massive mega book, right? But the Lord of the Rings is this.
Ah,
You know what I mean? And
right.
that's I try to do that with my own writing. So this will be the book. This will be my research. You will never see this.
Yes.
You will never see this. There
Yes.
will be a sentence said to one character
Yes.
that will be so solid and firm that
Right.
even with you not fully understanding what they mean,
Right.
understand what they mean. You won't understand what they're saying, but you understand what they mean.
I think JK, what's
Rowling?
this? Pardon?
Rowling?
Yes, JK Rowling said something to that effect as well. She said it pleases her if she knows that the author of the book knows more about the world
Mm-hmm.
than everybody else, even if that author will never share that piece of information about that world.
Yes.
Which, if you remember, I think there was a point where they were explaining what you need to obtain if you need to be at Harvard. Things like a book called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by such and such a person, which was a movie.
Yes.
But at that time, she knew the book, and I'm sure she knew the content of the book, but it was just a sentence at that moment.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
kind of like there's a nice. I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary, The Art of Rap. I think that's a good way of stating this. There's this thing this one rapper says where he says, some rappers they don't write down their raps, and you can tell. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Not
I
thinking.
think I did see the documentary talking about. Is this the one that talks about the origins with Africa Bombata and Cool Herc and all those guys? Is it the one you're talking about?
Sure, I don't know. It's got
Wow.
Rakim, it's got Eminem, it's got
I think that's the one that came out recently, isn't it?
maybe a few years ago, but yes, Ice Cube was no, sorry, no, Ice T's baby. He's the one who
Oh,
goes around talking to people. If you haven't seen it,
no,
it
no.
is
I haven't
honest to
seen
God
that.
fantastic.
Okay.
They talk about Redman talks to him, Method Man talks to him, Eminem talks to him. A lot of the rappers starting from Run DMC talks to him. So you get to talk from like the 60s all the way to present day. It is fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
but the point is, you can tell when someone hasn't done their homework, when they're just freestyling. And sometimes I feel like a lot of these modern stuff, in order to keep up with the times, they're just freestyling.
Right. Right.
I think, yeah.
Unless if you're like, which you couldn't really say it's freestyling. You could say part of it is freestyling, but it's not really freestyling. Someone like Tarantino,
Oh
who
yeah.
just takes bits and pieces of other movies and combines them. But he is very
Space,
knowledgeable.
yes. Space is incredible.
Yes.
So if anything, he is the big thing, and the movie is this small thing that he's taking. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a risky thing, though. You have to remember that's risky. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's probably watched thousands of movies. None of us.
And more than once.
Exactly. To the point where you can name actors off by heart that who?
But you've never heard of, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a walking encyclopedia of film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, his 8 films, or 9 now, I think, have
Yeah.
changed the world as we know it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool. That was a fun tangent. I genuinely enjoyed that one. I love doing that kind of thing. When it comes to writing, when it comes to technique, you know what I mean? That's what it's about. Yeah. I love this. Okay, cool. Back to the thing. The moment is awkward. Yeah, change your life. She decides to change her life. Funny enough, we're still following the beat sheet. Under 5 minutes, we've stated our themes and are deep in the setup already. We have now got our inciting incident. Same way an action movie would work. Same principles are being followed. So even though, ladies and gentlemen, even though we are leaving the action genre and the stuff, like we need to do a horror at some point, but even though we're leaving the action genre, we are still following storytelling methods. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Cool. Hilariously, her narration declares that this is a moment of choice, which you can either give up or embrace her villain arc. Hilariously,
right.
Hilariously, we cut to her in pajamas, smoking and watching TV, downing a wine glass, while Celine Dion's "All by Myself" plays in the background, which means she gave up. Yeah, it lets you know which side won. It's funny, and in a strange way, this whole song becomes an animated intro. We've discussed animated intro with Justice League Frontier. Yes. And what other movie we talked about where they had an intro?
Was an animated intro. I mean, I remember we spoke about the Nanny, the series, but I don't remember.
Remember, we talked about movie intros. We talked about Justice League Frontiers had that whole animated intro.
Yes.
Then there was another movie. Was it Full Metal Jacket? I can't remember. It was, how many old movies have you done? It was Full Metal Jacket and it was something else, I think. But anyway, yeah, it's like a little intro that kind of sets up what the story is going to be about. Like Citizen Kane.
Yes, Citizen Kane.
It has its own intro. But yeah, anyway, again, we've discussed this. It's very uncommon to be done, but it's packed with credits, rolling in the background. It works very well and shows a surprisingly complicated performance by Reneezellweger. Because a lot is happening here emotionally. She's crying, she's laughing, she's acting out, and still lip syncing beautifully, by the way. P.S. This is me in the shower every day. She is basically every director's dream. She's active and so good you can just leave the camera there for 3 minutes. And the camera does stay there, looking at her for like 3 minutes as she sings out this song, showing off all these different emotions.
Right.
Yeah. So I think she is a underrated actor. Like, I legitimately watched this and I was like, oh yeah, she can act.
You know, there are people who have been robbed of certain film projects. Like, I'm talking about like winning Oscars.
Yeah.
She should have won an Oscar for this movie. I'm telling you, she should have. Just like how Denzel should have won for Malcolm X. Yes. She should have won, not for Judy. I'm not saying that Judy was horrible. I haven't watched it yet. I cannot say anything about it. But she deserved an award for this specific movie. Because her acting chops were just out of this world.
This is different to Jerry Maguire. It's a different movie. It's absolutely. It's fantastic. Ah, dude. Yeah. Anyway, let's carry on. Bridget Jones gives herself a diary, setting that up, and she declares her goals. She declares the man she does not ever want to meet, only for the scene to cut to our legend Hugh Grant, one of the greatest love and romance actors of both the 90s and the 2000s.
Right.
So you agree with me there, yeah?
No, I do.
Yeah. 10 minutes in, we finally get some dialogue from Hugh Grant. It's a funny scene where he calls out her attempt to try and recover a situation where she was talking awkwardly, and he happened to be there. Where he's like, oh, I was talking to so-and-so. And it's like,
yes.
Yeah.
Before you get there, she made a list of the people that she doesn't want to be with, and he fits that description to the T.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make that clear.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is beautiful camera work. because it cuts them so nicely. Yes.
Right. So basically, here Bridget Jones is talking to her best friend.
Yeah.
Friend is crying in the bathroom like she always does
Yeah.
about her boyfriend, and she then notices that her boss, played by Hugh Grant, is standing right next to her. So now she's trying to salvage the situation by pretending like she's talking to an actual client instead of talking to her boyfriend. And then she mentioned a name,
Mhm.
and that name happens to be someone's famous. And Hugh Grant is like, wait, you're talking about the
Yeah, something. Who was a successful so and so? Who was so and so?
It's
Who
like,
died in 1970 so and so?
interesting.
Ah, that is beautiful.
And it messes her up so badly
Oh,
that she needs, like, you know, when you need reassurance from your friends, even though you know you messed up, but you want your friends to tell you something.
yes.
Do you want your friends to cheer you up? But you know, one of your friends is just gonna say, "I was just gonna fire you." Like that girl.
Yeah, as I say later, yes. But yeah, this is where British comedy shines, bro. It's
Right.
it's that awkward, cringy humor, dude.
Yes, that dry
Yes,
British humor, man.
it's the cringe.
Yeah.
Now, Americans try. They try, but they can't do it.
Yeah.
Best example,
Modern Family for me is one of the best ones.
yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is also another one.
Also, yeah, that comes close. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But I would say The Office is the best example. The British version versus the American version. The American version is honestly one of the funniest TV shows of all time.
Okay.
But that raw cringe that I don't want to be in this room at this moment.
It's the British one.
Yes, easy. Ricky Gervais turned it into an art form. Let's put it like that. The Office is so cringe. There are times I've had to pause and stop watching because I couldn't. I can't. It's too strong. I had to pause and recover. I'm not even laughing at this point. I'm just like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, for example, there's a moment in The Office, right, where Samuel Jackson, because it has every episode of The Office has a guest appearance, right?
Yeah.
And Samuel Jackson shows up because remember, it's basically extras is Ricky Gervais and movie extra. So he's up in the background of big movies, big movies.
Is what?
Samuel Jackson, huh?
He said is what about big movies?
He shows up in the background of big movies. Do you know what I mean? So it's a fake movie set, and then a celebrity comes in and is like, I'm the lead movie actor of this movie. You're in the background kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're in the background, right? And there's this one moment where every time he says something, he means well, but it comes off as racist.
Oh.
Samuel Jackson is in the background. And Samuel Jackson will walk in as he says the thing that comes off as oddly racist. Like there's a moment where they say extras eat over there, right?
Yeah.
Main actors eat over here. So then he gets mad, or the friend he's with gets mad, right? And he's like, and then the one lead actor goes to eat with the extras, and he's like, no, you people must go eat over there.
Oh no.
And of course, the guy happens to be black, and Samuel Jackson is watching as this happens.
Oh no. Oh no.
You know what I mean? And you can imagine Ricky Gervais's face. So in my opinion, the British do this shockingly well. I don't know if it's their whole stiff upper lip thing or their faces that does it. Just fantastic. But yeah, one of my favorite things. Cool. Anyway, I laughed out loud with the scene. I laughed so hard I almost screamed. And there's another thing to point out, by the way. British comedies, it's almost unique how many people are in British comedies. Have you noticed?
That's true. That's very true.
So many people.
That's true.
You know the gay best friend? The guy playing Tom?
Yeah, the guy who made a song and
yes, and now uses that to pick up guys. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course it works better with guys, of course. But yeah, that is the guy, the one of the lead actors of Battlestar Galactica, one of my favorite TV shows.
What?
And of course the pervy uncles on Game of Thrones. We know the dad is from Harry Potter. You said the moms from Harry Potter too. It's just crazy how many people are here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anyway, I just thought that's a cool thing to point out. 13 minutes in, she has a drunk party with her friends. She shows up late for work in a rather revealing outfit. I won't lie, I almost thought this was CGI because I did not know Reneezellweger was packing like that. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Oh man,
Like, it was
I
kind of
used to have
wild.
a mega
Yeah?
crush on this woman, bro. I used to have a mega crush on this woman. I knew that was real.
Next door, dog. I get it. She gets an email that's actually rather funny, making fun of how small her skirt is. It's got Hugh Grant's name all over it. And so she finds the email hilarious and she messages back and they're having a laugh about the situation.
Right.
And they kind of have a nice moment there. You know what I mean? A bonding moment. Like, this is like the Playboy is the person that notices her. That's kind of funny. She loves the moment and she goes against her rules for the next guy she meets. Again, this is not who she was supposed to meet, even though she tries to shut it down mentally with narration. It absolutely does not work, and she falls on her own temptations and shows up in a rather extra short skirt and a see-through top.
Yeah. I mean, it's Hugh Grant.
Yep.
Did you say not to Hugh Grant?
Exactly, dog.
As a lady in the early 2000s? No, you wouldn't.
Oh, fuck. You want to make you invite Tapelo here to describe this. Tapelo, sorry. But yeah, she's embracing it in a chaos demon. But why not, right? She might as well. Despite being perpetually single, there's a constant element of harassment. First, her uncle comes at her by grabbing her ass, and they show it. And
not
then
even a real uncle, by the way. It's not even a real uncle.
Yes, which makes it so much worse.
Dude.
And then we get the manager, who's this weird fat guy just staring at her chest the whole time.
And calls her Brenda?
Yes, and Brenda, yes, exactly. And yes. And then, of course, now the situation with the boss. This is all just things she has to deal with. This is just her life. It's almost incredible to picture this in the year 2023. It's so wild that I would call this fantasy if it was made today. What I mean?
And you would actually be surprised that some people might actually find that entire situation relatable in this day and age.
Yeah, true. Despite how cringy things have been with Mr. Darcy, she is playing this spot as she's playing this area as a pro. She's a pro. Oh, in the beginning she was an amateur, but now for some reason with Daniel Cleaver, she's just playing it smooth.
Yeah, she's not messing any bag at this point. She's doing, yeah.
She's out here being almost borderline Lady Dimitri, dog. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
This, in my opinion, this is the fun and games section, which happens a bit earlier to the system. But it's them having a bond and her embracing her more, I don't want to say darker side, but let's say more irresponsible side.
Right. Like, she is a bit confident, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything she's doing is wrong, but what's wrong with her doing it? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. We see her experimenting with outfits, experimenting with styles. We see her having fun as she's trying to get a man, which is, of course, one of the key stated themes. That's the point. Again, an action movie where you're trying to achieve a goal and you're preparing for it. This would be the fun and game section.
She's following her friend's advice. I mean, one of them says, make sure that you look your best. You know, you see her shaving her legs, you know, like, you know, cutting her toenails or whatever she's doing, just trying to look good, you know?
With that frumpy white woman's skin. I don't know how to explain it to you like that. Like, she does not look like a supermodel right now. Do you know what I mean? Not tanned. She's pale out here looking like borderline albinoism, dog.
And she had to, like, gain a couple of pounds for the role, you know?
Really? She had to gain weight?
She had to gain weight. I think she prepared herself for, like, what, 5, 6, 7 months, something like that. And also to perfect the accent and stuff like that.
Okay,
she really went into, like, the character, to make sure that's method acting, basically.
You know what's funny? Now that you say that, I think that's one of the reasons The Rock doesn't have a franchise yet. If you think about it. Think about it. How many movies has The Rock been in, right? Hasn't got a franchise yet. Look at Vin Diesel. Man's in at least 2 franchises already. Fast and the Furious, Chronicles of Riddick.
Right.
And yet The Rock just can't seem to do anything.
No, and Triple X, by the way.
Yes, oh my God, you're right, Triple X.
Yes.
Man, I don't know, maybe it's because it's consequence of The Rock being The Rock. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain element of a person you have to be when you're The Rock.
Right.
Whereas you don't have to be that when you're a normal actor.
Before people come to us in the comments, Jumanji? Doesn't Jumanji count?
I feel like that's not his baby. Like I would
Fast and Furious doesn't count?
No. See, do you know what a script doctor is? Do you know what a script doctor is?
A script doctor?
Yes.
No.
Basically, an action movie, right? They'll prepare the script. Normally there'll be a script that's pre-done, right? And then they'll give it to professionals to look over, and then they'll get it ready as it gets done. But then sometimes there'll be something missing, right? So then they'll hire someone like Josh Whedon, for example.
Right.
A bad example is, of course, Avengers. A good example would be maybe like Alien 4, because he was involved in that. But basically, this man was like a script doctor in the past. He'd come in and he'd improve a script. So, in my opinion, The Rock was a franchise doctor. Because the Rock, the Fast and Furious does not belong to him, but Fast 5 was helped by him.
Yes, he made it better.
Exactly, he revitalized it.
Right.
But again, is it fair to call Jumanji his? First of all, but yeah, because technically one could argue it belongs to Robin Williams still. But no, he's done more movies than Robin Williams, definitely. But can you really call that? I almost want to call it Kevin Hart's more than The Rock's. Though I feel like that's a bit unfair. But at the same time...
But I do get what you're saying, though. Yeah. I think you're talking about a franchise that he carries on his back from the beginning without necessarily including, like where he's the star.
Exactly.
You could say that supporting actors and actresses become stars because of that franchise.
Exactly. I think
he's not a diehard guy.
He's not a Mission Impossible. He's not Mission Impossible.
Rocky
has what? Multiple franchises? Terminator. Gosh, what's wrong with me now? Terminator. What else is it? Say it again. What?
Who are you referring to? Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold. Yeah.
Didn't you do Conan as well? I think he did a sequel to
Conan was his baby. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Bear and the Destroyer. Yes.
Predator. Even though he wasn't only in the first one. Yeah.
Yes. Everyone keeps begging for him to come back because we all know it's his baby. Point is, this man has revitalized, but he's never carried. He's never got David Goggins. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Bridget Jones put in so much effort that this is her baby. Keanu Reeves broke his neck, dude, for The Matrix. Do you know what I mean? That's his baby. Lawrence Fishburne can be removed, and you can still have Keanu Reeves there.
Right.
And I think the effort she put in this, she deserves this baby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, she took it seriously. I think that's why, for me, some of the most successful projects are the projects where the actors fear and respect the project, the director, everybody involved, to a point where when you hear them speak about this, there's certain actors and actresses, when they speak about any project that they're in, it doesn't really sound like PR. For me, it sounds like a really tough job. It's like you're listening to a contract worker talking about some building that he had to build. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really respect everything. Like, when they get that award, you're like, dude, you worked your butt off. Even the speech that they make, once they get that award, all you hear is hard work, even though they don't say those words. But the people they thank, so I feel that's basically...
when they talk about them as well.
Right.
Exactly. Heath Ledger's Joker. Have you heard people talking about him? You know,
To this day.
yeah.
To this day.
Hey, I mean, when you talk about Matt Damon talking about like Jack Nicholson in The Departed, about man was out here just freestyling cool ideas with Scorsese, because Scorsese will listen. That's his thing. He'll listen. So Scorsese, what if we do this? And things like, yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Here's a strange example, actually. A funny example, but a good one. Jigsaw. The guy who plays Jigsaw, he was giving out here giving input to all his movies, and this man was out here giving more of a crack. Was out here carrying the franchise more than The Rock does in any specific franchise. Do you know what I mean?
You're talking about Saw.
Yeah, Saw. Sorry, yes, Saw.
All right.
And in the first one, how many Saw movies before they finally moved on from him? Yes, and he died in like the second movie. He died in the second movie, but he was out here still carrying that weight.
He's still carrying the sequels. Yeah, 100%.
That is what it means to be. Do you know what I mean? Hasn't done that yet. So credit to Bridget, to reneezellweger. Like,
I agree with you.
But anyway, yeah, that was fun. Anyway, yeah, moving on. Cool. We were ending it. Yeah, having fun. Get the man. Cool. We get our. Oh, now the event starts. By the way, they've been preparing for an event with Kafka's Motorbike. The strangest movie title name I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, Kafka is a famous book writer, is a famous author, by the way, guys, said in the past. His novels were some of the most depressing novels, where basically you lose if you win, you win if you lose. His books were messed up, but they were kind of beautiful. They talked about society. Anyway.
Wait. Is this a real author?
Yes, Kafka is a real author. So when it says Kafka's Motorbike, that's obviously not a real author.
Yes.
Funny enough, the old man you see there is Salman Rushdie, who is a real author and a legend of our time.
The author who calls her Brenda.
No, not the chubby manager, but the Indian old man who they keep asking, do you know where the bathroom is? Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that guy is a real author.
Funny enough, I've seen him in other movies though, or other things. I didn't know he was a real author.
Yeah, he's a real author, that like Indian guy with the gray.
The guy was talking about Martin. He kept on talking about Martin, and in my head I'm thinking, who's Martin?
Yep. This man has been attacked because what he did is he wrote a book, a book critiquing religion, and he's been he's the most wanted person in basically Muslim society. He's been attacked on multiple occasions in his life, had acid thrown in his face. He basically lives his life in constant threat. Meanwhile, he didn't even talk about a specific religion, but one of the religions got so mad that they put out a fatwa on him, dog. That is how this man is a brave, legendary author. But yeah, just thought I mentioned that. But anyway.
I think there is a masterclass I think he did a masterclass, but I stand to be corrected on that one.
Probably. I hope he did. But anyway, we get it. Anyway, this is something in terms of storytelling where we debate the theme of the story, right? The theme, of course, being reneezellweger's Bridget Jones's love life. And by that, the debate is basically represented in the vision of the two men. You could call it karma, as we see our two love interests, both very different. Mr. Darcy is, of course, very stiff, whereas Mr. Cleaver is super smooth.
Yeah, a flirt of note.
You can see. Yeah.
I was just saying he's a flirt of note. Like, he knows what to say, he knows how to say it, he knows how to make a woman laugh, smile, have a good time. He's able to make a woman drop her panties off in 10 minutes.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Dude, and it's so well done. But cleverly, Bridget and Mr. Darcy end up having a little fun moment of genuine banter. It comes off as really refreshing, despite how mortified Bridget is throughout the whole conversation.
Right.
After 20 minutes, Bridget is called to introduce one of the speakers, the pervy manager. The director is very clever here, because this is about where he really represents the debate. He shows the two male leads and their reactions as Bridget goes through a complete cringe fest. Daniel Cleaver is laughing along with the chaos. Mr. Darcy is cringing at the awkwardness. This is great because this could be marked as a sign of sympathy or empathy, depending on how you look at it, because they're both supporting her in a way. You can't say either one of them is really wrong in this situation. Bridget is, of course, mortified with her speech, and that's just happened. And both men come to comfort her. Yeah.
She didn't know how to switch on the mic.
Oh.
She forgot how to mention the author's name, so she just winged it. So obviously, Mr. Darcy, you're right, had empathy for her, and he actually wanted to go and confront her, and but yeah, as he was about to go, then Hugh Grant goes in.
Because he's smooth. There's no hesitation. He slides straight in.
He uses that moment to his advantage.
Yes, exactly.
It's as if he expected her to fail, so that he can use that moment.
I don't know if he's that clever, but yes, I kind of agree there, man. Daniel gets there first and lost, and Mr. Darcy's lost situation, he laughs at the situation, easing her in a way that would have been different to Mr. Darcy, but both quite effective. Cleaver, having gotten there first, takes her away to dinner. Something interesting has been happening the whole time, by the way. Mr. Darcy and Daniel Cleaver have been giving each other very distinct looks.
Salty looks.
Dog, they're out here spitting fire, dog.
Yeah.
Clearly something is happening here.
Yes.
Which goes back to Mr. Pride and Prejudice, where Mr. Darcy and the blonde man, aka Mr. Wickman. Is my voice bouncing back at me? Okay. Mr. Wickman are having beef, and yet something similar happens along the way.
Right.
More surprised by how many Pride and Prejudice links there are in the storyline. But there's a twist. As it turns out, they do know each other, but it turns out deeper than we realize. They were friends once, but it appears Daniel Cleaver may have shown this man his fiancée, and things went wrong from there. Tantalizing Mr. Darcy slept with Daniel Cleaver's fiancée. Mr. Rock and Roll got his heart broken, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, what a twist. Yeah. At 26 minutes, the once terrible night turns into a wonderful night as they kiss goodbye. But how many kisses really end in goodbye? If it does, you need kissing tips.
Because she said she's going home.
Yeah.
Even called a taxi.
Yep.
But after those 2-3 kisses, dude, next thing we know, he's at his house.
Exactly, talking about granny panties. Like, let me see those again.
That's the thing about him.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm sure that's how I felt initially when I saw this movie, and I'm sure that's how everybody felt when they saw this movie. He was perfect, bro. Like, he's seeing beyond her flaws. Like, granny panties. I think I'm even wearing the same pair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even how he sounds, he's calm, he's relaxed, he's very charming.
He makes her flaws seem amazing.
Yes.
Like, he makes her feel great for her mistakes. Like, it's fantastic. He's so perfect. Like, in any other movie, he might actually be the good guy. Do you know what I mean?
Look, he is, it's kind of like Frozen. You remember watching Frozen?
Yeah.
The prince in Frozen was ticking all the right boxes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But you start realizing once you get the perfect guy from the beginning, chances are he might not be the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unless if the guy's the main character.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they end up going home with each other. And this escalation has changed the entire dynamic. How we see Mr. Darcy has changed. How we see Mr. Cleaver has changed.
Right.
How Bridget sees herself has changed.
Yes.
This is a dramatic shift which kind of shows that we are broken into Act 2.
Yes, we even get an update because there's this whole thing of her talking about the weight she's gained, the cigarettes she's been smoking, and the wine or alcohol that she's been drinking.
Yep.
And after this whole sex with this guy, all of a sudden it's post-coital cigarettes. After sex, booze, after sex, weight. So that was funny.
Yes. Okay, cool. Now we're officially in Act 2. The pair are sleeping together more than once, and she's trying to think ahead, but he's not letting her. Only for a B plot to break out, as Bridget is taken away from that to go to her mother, who's presenting a bizarrely suggestive egg cracker. Her mother is swung away by a TV presenter and is leaving her husband, putting Bridget in a situation as she talks to her mother. What did you think about that?
I like this B plot because it shows you. It's sort of like the same situation, but with an older generation.
Yes.
In a sense that her mother was leaving her dad for someone more exciting.
Yep.
Which is similar to like Bridget no longer being interested in that stiff Darcy guy.
Yes.
But being more focused on this fun, charismatic.
Absolutely.
Flirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I would say that she's her dad. No. Darcy is her dad.
Yeah.
She is her mom in this situation.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe there was a lesson that she could have learned there, but at that point she didn't realize that she should learn it yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right, because this is what we call a B plot in terms of the storyline arc,
yes.
Story's journey. It's designed to show what happens if you make the wrong choice.
Yes.
B plot characters are supposed to be you doing the wrong thing and the consequences that come with it.
Right.
Daniel Cleaver is Mr. High Flying, and her mother has picked up something by her standards that will be high flying and empowering, which is Daniel is. This is shown as the cut goes from her mother and the rich man to her and Daniel Cleaver, juxtaposing the pair. This comes to an awkward halt as they travel for a holiday to a countryside hotel, only to meet Mr. Darcy of all people.
Wait, before you get there, please tell me, maybe I'm wrong, because that's a movie that I'm still yet to watch. That moment when she gets out of her place wearing the glasses and that sheet, I don't know what you call it, the white one. Wasn't that similar to a scene in Audrey Hepburn's Breakfast in Tiffany's? Or any other movie from the 20s, 30s, 40s? It just seems like, like this beautiful lady comes out with glasses on and she's wearing something. And goes into the car and they drive off to the distance, to the sunset or whatever.
Which is, of course, immediately undermined when her hat flies off. She looks like Tarzan at the end of it.
Which she actually narrates and says, look, I don't have the same, I don't know, charm as these people.
Funny enough, the movie Spanglish actually makes fun of that as well. What's it, Ben Stiller? No, not Ben Stiller, Adam Sandler.
Which is Adam Sandler, yes.
And what's her name?
Taya Leone. Well, Taya Leone is his wife in the movie.
Yes.
You're talking about the Spanish. You're talking about the Spanish lady.
Yes, Penelope Cruz, right?
No, that's not Penelope Cruz.
It's
like there's three of them, right? That are friends. There's Salma Hayek, then there's Penelope Cruz, then there's this lady. I forgot her name. Just give me a second, I'll tell you just now.
The old petite but insanely hot Spanish woman stereotype. And then you get a giant Spanish woman who's Sofia Lagaria.
It's Paz Vega.
Ah, okay, I don't know that well. But anyway, like you're saying, Tori Lorenz, right? What's it?
No, Taya Leone. She was in the first Bad Boys film.
Yes. There's
Yes.
a funny car scene as well where she's like, "This never works for me," and the cars are just in her hair is just like.
That's a movie.
Exactly.
That's a movie we need to touch. Like,
Definitely.
it's one of the movies that I always feel like that movie is far from perfect, but it's a movie that I love to watch a lot.
It's honestly one of the most surprisingly realistic films.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
surprisingly realistic.
Yes.
It's almost funny when comedians decide to be real because they almost become more real than like real life dramas sometimes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. A little match up there. Mr. Darcy, yeah, we're gonna meet Mr. Darcy. This scene is very interesting because to her it doesn't matter that she met Mr. Darcy. She's the committed type. She has a boyfriend now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she
doesn't care.
Yeah, she goes full John Cena, dog. She can't see me.
She doesn't give a rat's butt at this point in time.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Daniel, who's Mr. In the Moment, it matters more to him. While she's having fun, he's just out here giving that dirty eye, dog. Until they move on to another scene, when you can kind of see where they're kind of chilling by the water, and they have, and you can see that one kind of affects Mr. Darcy as well on that side. You can see him staring with his super stuffy, almost cartoonishly stuffy wife.
Oh,
And dog, like
his girlfriend.
just out here reading a book.
She is such a tool.
Dog, it's almost
She
cartoonish.
is such like she would be perfect in a series like CSI or Boston Legal or Suits. You know what I'm saying? She would work best there in a dramatic role.
And she's a lawyer, so yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It works, and I mean she does fit the role. Like she is the ideal wife for Darcy. Like she's someone that Darcy should be with.
It's who Darcy's mother would ideally hook her.
That's
Yes,
it.
exactly.
And that's something that even happens in real life. You find people who get married to people that society wants them to marry or to get married to.
Yes.
But these people want freaks or people who like are just so imperfect. Yep. That's why sometimes they're like, "You cheated on me with this lady?" Like, yep. Yeah, yes. That is my stuff, right? This is what I prefer. Which is I know you are hot and whatever, you are sophisticated and whatever, but I want Cardi B or I want this lady who is so imperfect and she knows it. That's who I want. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Do you know what's funny about that? Societally, we call that the old stumpy society thing. But if you actually think about it, the idea of dating, the idea of meeting someone different is actually a new idea. It is less than almost 100 years old.
That's true.
Well, humanity has existed for 200,000 years, maybe. I don't know how long. But the norm has been arranged marriages or someone your parents agree with, someone in the tribe. You know
yes.
This
yes, like the Darcys will marry the Mitchells or whatever.
Yes.
There are certain stone.
Yeah, in the grand scale of things, Bridget Jones is almost actually no. Technically, she knew him from a kid. Do you know what I mean?
Which was 4.
Yeah, but the thing that we call the breaking the societal norms is not just breaking societal norms, it's breaking fucking evolutionary norms, if you actually think about it.
Yes.
Because the old way was the way for almost 200,000 years. We're almost inbuilt for it.
Right.
Like, that's almost like it's a weird thing to think about.
And I think that's why relationships are becoming tougher and tougher. Yeah. It's because everybody wants to be with who they want to be with.
Yeah.
And as a result, you have a lot of confused people. Most get swindled, scammed, and such. Because we're all looking for things that we're all breaking this old traditional law or norm rather that has existed before most of us could even comprehend.
Dude, before Jesus, before Yes.
Before most of us could even comprehend what the wheel is.
Exactly. Before writing. Dog.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And if you think about it, the concept of a guy walking up to a girl and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" It's less than 50 years old. We're talking about 1970s at the earliest, maybe.
Right.
Maybe 1960s, the Elvis types meeting each other at the drive-in or something like that at best.
Do you think it's the movies that did this?
But that created it, or that tried to make it a norm?
Try to make it a norm. Because I remember even kissing in movies was not a thing until that movie. What's that movie? The Kiss? The first kiss?
Yes.
Or something like that.
I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I think yes. I think that's literally the case.
Yeah. So it's like even like the whole Diamond Time, a girl's best friend thing.
Yes.
You know,
It was literally a lie set up by diamond companies.
Yes.
Just be a shiny rock.
Yes.
If
Diamonds are the biggest scam, bro. Like in terms of like, okay, wedding rings are the biggest scam ever, bro.
yes,
Ever.
actually, gold makes sense because it's a soft metal and it's still being used to this day. Hell, we use gold in our computer chips. You know what I mean?
Right.
But diamonds, what? Diamonds, what?
It's so crazy. And they have like these people have manipulated us, especially women, so much that men have no choice but to buy these expensive things
That's diamonds.
to impress a woman who might change her mind later on. It's so crazy.
Yeah, they literally made a rule saying you need to spend at least 1 month's salary.
Yes.
Who
Yes.
can I kick? If I had a time machine, I would shoot that guy. Because what? And we believed him?
Media, bro. Media, bro.
Dog. But yeah, moving on. I just thought that was just a fun thought. Yeah. Anyway, Coco, he's with a girl. He's with that girl, the stiff girl. Anyway, you can tell Darcy is thirsty for that kind of fun. 35 minutes in, we get our bedtime post-sex moment where Bridget asked if Daniel loves her, and he avoids the question entirely, reinforcing the idea that Daniel's about the moment, no long-term.
Yes.
Yes. The morning comes and she wakes up to a dressed and ready to go Daniel, who says he has to go. It ruins the moment, but Bridget accepts it despite having a mature enough presence of mind to consider that he most likely is having cold feet. Like, she understands what's going on.
Yes.
Like, it's so funny because she comes off as so ditzy, you know what I mean? But she has emotional intelligence to understand what is happening with him. But she still plays it cool because she is falling for this man heavily.
Right.
So he leaves her in a bunny costume to completely the wrong kind of event, likely set up by the horny uncle.
Yes, that's the impression that I'm getting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And again, this is so much funnier if you watch Game of Thrones, because this man used to play Randall Tarley, one of the angriest, stiffest men of that entire TV show. And he's out here being a horny uncle. Right. Insane. Right. Didn't know how to smile. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I just find that flipping hilarious. Anyway, we're pulled back to the B plot. The relationship between Bridget's mom and dad. We also add Bridget judging Mr. Darcy on the situation between him and Daniel, which matches Pride and Prejudice once again. She's feeling low and goes to visit Daniel, only to find a naked girl inside his bathroom. Most likely a reaction to being told I love you. And
initially she thought that there was nothing wrong. Like she thought she was paranoid.
Yes. That's cope for you. That's that copium.
Until she's by the door and she sees like that coat.
Yeah, the pink coat.
And
that was a nice moment.
It was because she figured it out. Nobody had to tell her anything.
Yep. It was beautiful. I enjoyed that, actually.
Yeah.
44 minutes in, she's lower than she's ever been, brokenhearted, watching media that breaks her heart more than ever, putting her lower than ever.
Yeah, because she quoted Fatal Attraction, close.
Yes.
And we actually do see a scene from that movie.
Absolutely, dude. Like, wow. I was even shocked.
Dude.
The awkward follow-up, she goes back to work. And to Bridget's utter surprise, the girl she caught is actually his fiancée, which is just damn. So it turns out he is capable of committing, just not with her.
Yes, because you could hear in his rationale that
Mhm.
she's definitely not the person that you would marry.
Yeah.
Like the way he was talking about how young that girl is, and
Yeah. Like
they were both searching for something. Like we were both searching for something. I thought I had you. What do you mean we were both searching for something?
excuses were wild.
Yeah.
Excuses were like, oh, you don't understand human nature, and that's you're crazy. You're a crazy person.
Yes. Like that's like I think I hate using the word narcissist because I feel like it's overused.
Yeah.
But this is probably the second time watching a movie where I was like, this dude is a narcissist.
Yeah. It's the me show, yes. To the point
Because
where,
the first time was when I was watching Citizen Kane.
yeah.
You know, now it's when I'm watching this and I'm like, like he shows no remorse. Like even his apology feels so rehearsed.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell that he doesn't mean anything he's saying.
Yeah. And the parts he means are crazy. Oh, she's
Yeah.
younger, you see. It's like Jesus. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. This leaves her at her lowest low. Like, she's in the depths of a low, and she's trying to do something positive for once. This, I feel like it happens too early in the storyline, but this is her midpoint, low point. Like, this is where at a movie, we've discussed it before, where now you're at your lowest, and now you try to do something to go up from that low position. You know what I mean? Take action. Cool. So she tries to do something positive, exercising, putting motivational books up. In it, she actually gains a different kind of confidence. You kind of see her repeat the bridge walking scene, and you can see the smile is different. Well done.
Yeah.
Performance by her, yes.
Because she throws away books about how men think,
yes,
what men don't know they know, or whatever, stuff like that. To replacing stuff like,
yes,
I think there was a book that said, like, liking men is dumb or something like that, you know. And you see that she's basically just focusing more on herself,
yes,
going to the gym, trying to lose weight, stuff like that, spending time with her friends and all that.
yes,
So trying to find a new job.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it works for her. She tries to kiss ass when she tries to go for a new job, but when she's truthful, she gets a new job and she quits her old one, leaving Daniel behind in a pretty cool ass scene.
Yes.
There has always been a consistent element of sexualization going on in the background that is actually very interesting. We've discussed it before. The woman in the office cheering as she makes her exit, the uncle, the idea of the idea of her in a bunny outfit, the old manager staring at her tits, the new manager running in a tiny skirt.
Oh yeah.
If this movie was made today, this movie would not be about love and her finding it. It would be a Me Too movie, and it would be 100% about that instead of being in this oddly quirky background thing that happens to be the life she has to live, despite being blatant. It's oddly quiet. It's kind of reminds me of elements of race from the basic movie we saw and Full Metal Jackets we did. Remember the breakdowns we did, where like there was elements of race and that were discussed but not the point.
Right.
I find that very interesting. Like nowadays, if you were to I don't say neglect, but to under promote those negative things, it would be kind of ignored. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry, it would make people mad. It would make people mad. Like, how do you talk about this thing?
How dare you not talk about this or shed some light onto it?
Yes.
Right.
Think, oh, it's because you like sexual assault. That's why you like. That's why you're talking about it so softly.
Right.
But We get Bridget's moment to shine, and it ends in disaster as she crashes ass first into the camera, making an international laughingstock, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, because basically she was becoming a news anchor basically, and
Yes.
you know they were just basically showing us how some of these journalists, you know,
Yes.
enter, or rather their openings. She was meant to just come down from a pole, uh,
Yes.
because she was covering a fireman or something like that, and she fumbled. It was the first day. Obviously, she will make mistakes.
That's not. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that moves on, and she goes, and before she's swallowing, and then she ends up being stuck in this "Why are you single" moment, where that's a callback from the opening party, and Bridget finds herself surrounded by couples who are looking down on her, and she has to try and maintain a composure. Which by now we all know what happens. We get another call back as she's emotionally down, and Mr. Darcy is given a moment that he hesitated on before, but he takes now as he consoles her.
Right.
Awkwardly confesses his feelings straight to her, inarticulately but in a way that's honest and genuine. It actually catches her by surprise. Him liking her is an entirely new dynamic.
Yes.
58 minutes in, she's given a moment to shine once more. This time she's in front of something genuinely serious, and she's already messing it up, and meets up with Mr. Darcy, and suddenly his legal career that had been set up from the start comes into play. She goes from a laughing stock to presented with the only interview inside of this major case that had shown up.
Yes.
Yes. This is a major W for her, and she's riding high. This, of course, does not last as her personality appears to come into play. She's just confident on how to do stuff, despite having no experience or knowledge in any of the things she's doing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
When I was doing research about Renee Zellweger, apparently before she wanted to become an actress, she wanted to become a journalist. So
Oh.
I feel like this movie was meant so much more to her than what meets the eye. I mean, even when so there's a series called Iconoclasts, which was basically I think created by Robert Redford. And what he does is he brings two people from two different worlds together, creatives and stuff like that, or people that we consider to be iconic or that have really done remarkable things in their respective industries. And she has Renee Zellweger with a lady that's been a news anchor in CNN. He also had Maya Angelou and Dave Chappelle, had Richard Branson and Desmond Tutu, also had Fiona Apple and Quentin Tarantino. So the fact that you see her with a journalist shows you how intrigued she is about journalism. So the fact that she got a role that actually puts her in a journalism role, come on, that's written in the stars. That's just God showing off. You know what I mean? Like, how convenient is it
Yeah,
that you get that specific role?
that is very unique. Definitely. That's amazing actually.
Yeah,
Like that. That's a cool story, bro. That's wild.
yeah.
How that? Um, yeah. Damn. I mean, being put like that is actually good. I like the idea of just two. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder who you'd be put with, or I'd be put with. I don't even know.
I have no cooking clue, bro. Have no idea.
But I like the idea. That I'll think about it. Anyway, yeah, she has no experience in what she's doing, but still willing to try and not willing to ask. Making her face plant every single time, which is what happens with the food she's cooking for her friends. Um,
Was she even? Does she even know how to cook to begin with?
I don't think she does. Literally, that's what that's about. To the point where Mr. Darcy is trying to recover things.
But it
Anyway,
was late. It was so late.
it
And
was
in my head, I was thinking, dude, why don't you order something? But in my head, I'm thinking maybe it was too, like, this is 2001.
yes. There was a Nokia 3310 I don't know if you saw it.
I saw that. But in my head, like, couldn't they like use like a landline to order pizza or something?
Yeah. There's no 24-hour fish and chips. What the hell? Britain. But yeah, still, it's just like you're all gonna eat this and accept it. Like MasterCard, you're gonna accept it. Yeah.
Oh, you know what I think it was?
Yeah.
I think Darcy didn't want her to feel like crap by ordering something and just throwing away the nonsense that she had cooked.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, let me do something slightly more, a bit more decent. Let me do an omelette.
Yes.
And then we'll still eat your crap, but at least
Yeah.
people will stomach the omelette. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Darcy proves to be one of those opposite attracts. Two halves
Yeah.
of the soul.
Yes.
The seriousness to her ditziness. It eases his stiffness and adds competence to her madness.
Yes.
Then 1 minute, 6 minutes in, of all people, Daniel Cleaver shows up,
Oh, dude.
apologizing for everything. Daniel feeds into all the things she likes, all the things she already is. Ironically, all of them joke about Mr. Darcy loving her the way she is. But actually, Daniel Cleaver is the one who appears to need the least from her and would technically let her be. Which, if you think about it, is a bit of a mess. Which is what I love about, which is what love triangles are what it's about. Do you know what I mean? This is a rant for the ages, but a love triangle is supposed to be about two sides filling you up, because no human being is made of two halves. We're all complex. It's entirely possible for two different types of people to complete the same person.
I was gonna get there. Like,
yeah,
for you to make an interesting love triangle story, the main love interest has to be a complex character. That's the only way you can make it work.
yes, and it has to stand a chance on both sides.
Yes.
It can't just be you're in love with this person and then Steve in the background is just really in love with you.
But you see, sometimes I feel like it's lazy when from the other side, the love interest is just interested in the person's looks. There has to be more than just looks.
True.
Towards the character. You can't just be eye candy. There has to be something about you, that makes you
absolutely
interesting enough to catch the main character's eye.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. But I also think there's an element, even if that's all you care about, stand a chance. Do you know what I mean? And there's the problem.
Right.
Especially in a lot of anime. There'll be love triangles or harems or whatever they're called, or reverse harems.
Yes.
The guy or the girl is in love with exactly one person. Do you know what I mean? But there's like 5 other people in the background who are in love with this person too. But it doesn't matter because he's in love with one person. So why are they here? Where's the drama right now?
Right, because you don't feel anything for these girls that have a crush on this guy. The other 5 girls you don't care about. You care about the girl that he has a crush on.
Exactly. So why are the other ones there?
That's a rhetorical question. I don't have an answer for that one.
Yeah. If I had a penny for every time I've read a manga where there's 2 girls.
Yeah.
The other one gets the date. The other one stands in the background and goes, I love him, but nothing happens. Oh, great. What a waste of my time.
Love Hina is one such of a manga where there's like 5 girls that want this guy.
Yeah, but there's only actually one girl.
Yes.
Others are just fan fiction.
Yeah, you're just buying time.
Exactly. Which is
before they to get into a relationship. It's like Smallville. You remember Chloe?
Yes.
Chloe loved Clark, bro, and she was like perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
She was not Lana.
Yeah, she was not Lana. So they were like this. You would have given up.
Yes.
Any logical person would have given up by now.
Yes.
And yet here these people always are. So I think that's always frustrating. Whereas this one, Cleaver comes in out of nowhere in this date situation and almost kisses her. Like she almost start making out, almost get back together while Mr. Darcy's right there.
Dude, that's why it's like, you know what, I'm leaving. Because clearly I'm wasting my flipping time. I just made you an omelet.
Dog.
I just ate your blue soup.
Dog. I ate.
And you're gonna kiss this nigga?
Yeah. All because he appeals to the side of her. You know what I mean? The side where she just let go and just kind of be this bad girl. You know what I mean?
That's super hyper realistic. How many times have you had a girl who was complaining about her boyfriend, finally breaks up with the boyfriend, you are relieved, you guys start having something, next thing you know, I slept with him. You're like, when, how, why?
Yes, absolutely, man. It is laughable. Absolutely laughable. Oh my god, I could yell for ages. But anyway, but yes, you get my point. You don't have to cheat or have 5 wives. I'm not saying that, but just meet 2 soulmates. Do you know what I mean? Which makes sense even if Darcy is the right person overall, but most especially in this movie. Anyway, Mr. Darcy challenges Daniel to a fight, and the most hilariously realistic fight happens. Because in a real fight, you don't want to get hurt. So you're like...
I was watching some video where Colinfirth and what's this guy now? Hugh Grant. They said this on separate occasions. Like, it's not like they were both in the same space at the same time, but they were like, these people wear suits. The last thing you can think about these people is that they know kung fu or whatever. I mean, that's not what they said. But it's not like that fight had to be choreographed, right? These are 2 modern suburban guys who barely fight. But they just want to beat the crap out of each other.
Yes, I mean, the one is a publisher. I'm sure he's got soft hands. Hugh Grant's got soft hands, I'm sure. And the other one's a lawyer. They probably spend more time writing than most people spend in the gym. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you could have probably lost this license, I think. I guess. I don't know how it works.
I also don't know how it works, yeah.
But I feel like he is the better fighter, even though they both fight like sissies.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. I mean, Thingamajig gives up twice, I think. Oh, my God. But anyway, the fight ends, and Mr. Darcy leaves after she tells him off. And it's left with Daniel, and she leaves to stays with Daniel, who she also says no to. I thought this was great, because what he's offering to her is nothing real or solid.
That's what she eventually figured, which is something she eventually figured out.
Yes.
Like a guy who's dating a side chick, and he keeps on saying sweet nothings to the side chick until the side chick is like, you know what, you're not offering me anything permanent.
Yeah.
Not what I'm looking for.
Exactly. And I'm not talking about that stupid what do you bring to the table bullshit. You know what I mean? That common debate that's been happening nowadays with men and women on the internet.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about spiritual stuff right now.
Yes.
Daniel has nothing to offer spiritually.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's all about Daniel. And that's got nothing to do with her.
Narcissist, Baba.
Dog. So she wants something more substantial. And it's her deepest moment in this movie. She's been ditzy throughout. But this is the deepest moment. If you think about it, she doesn't even actually really give input in the B plot. She's just kind of there sympathizing.
She's definitely a reactive character in this B plot.
Well, there's moments where she's absolutely deciding things, right? But I agree. In terms of the B plot, 100% that thingamajiggy. And in terms of her voting,
I guess you could say most of this plot focuses on Darcy a bit. Like, it's his moment to shine, because for the most part he was not really there.
Yeah.
It was about her and what's his name again? You said it's what?
Cleaver. Daniel.
Cleaver. Yes. Daniel Cleaver. But in the B plot, you can say that Darcy is becoming more prominent as a character.
With the parents.
Oh, no, I was just saying he becomes more prominent as a character,
yes.
Darcy.
Oh, definitely, in general. Because we never had a moment for them to bond, not really, until now, yes.
Yes, exactly.
So we return to the B plot, and we see her father is miserable. And they are watching her mother's infomercials, where the mother is looking none too happy to herself. Her mother returns, and she comes back to ask for another chance. The father doesn't even hesitate to take her back.
Which is so messed up, bro. Like, so many levels. Like, dude, the mother was calling Bridget, talking about the sex that she's enjoying and whatever.
And then the
Dude.
part where the guy's like, how did you even meet him? And she's like, I don't even know. And it's like, Jesus. Dog,
Dude, Bridget Jones's mom is a hoe. You just
dog.
need to call, to call a spade a spade.
Yeah, this would be unacceptable today. Talk about simp sauce. What simpness is this?
Dude, like,
The dad would be out here giving money to her OnlyFans, dog. Just out here, biggest contributor.
because in my head, I'm asking myself, why would you just leave your marriage like that?
Yep.
Just like that. And then come back just like that.
And this man hasn't been out here looking. I mean, no, he tried to flirt once and it was terrible. And he fell apart the moment he tried.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He fell apart the moment he tried. And she's out here smashing like a drum, dog. Just yeah.
I'm glad they balanced it out. That was very clever writing. Because you have the douche, that's Hugh Jackman, that's a man. Sorry, not Hugh Jackman, Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
And then with the B plot, you have the woman doing this.
Yes.
Because if it was just both men, I don't think it would have had the same weight.
I think the mother is supposed to be like a symbol of a part of Bridget, actually.
Yes, definitely. That's what I'm saying. That the dad is Darcy in this situation.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's accepting, which is beautiful.
Yes.
Which actually comes nicely later on. But the B plot ends with a cool moment where we cut to the parents going to a party. The B plot and the A plot, there's a thing where the B plot comes separate, right? But then the two plots combine, right?
Right.
What happens here? The two plots combine with them going to a party with Darcy's mother.
Yes, and she didn't want to go, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Then she finds out the truth that Mr. Darcy was the real victim and that Daniel Cleaver had lied again.
It actually came. I like how the truth was revealed, because there's so many times where Darcy could have just said, no, this is actually what happened.
Yeah.
But he didn't the entire movie, bro.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about him.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And then, because even when you see how he was interacting with, you said it's Daniel?
Mm-hmm.
You realize that Daniel deserved a punch each and every time they met.
Yes.
But he still didn't punch him.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's a cool
that tells you a lot about about Darcy, actually.
Yeah. Changes the context, which is wonderful.
Yes.
Cool. What follows is the reverse of the classic airport scene. The moment of a story where the lead rushes to apologize.
Right.
Normally following the man, but now we're following Bridget. The best example I can think of is, of course, Hitch, which takes an extreme turn when the old stiff girlfriend shows up derailing things. But she pushes through, and we get our apology and then our confession. As with the airport confession trope, it turns out Darcy is on his way out. This breaks her heart in the moment, humiliating away. But that's just the way she is. So she's gonna get humiliated. That's just normal for her.
It's as if it's fate. It's as if she's meant to just be humiliated over and over and over.
At this point, everyone's used to it. At this point, even the people at the party.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We see him in America, and we show her and her friends trying to cheer her up, only for Darcy to suddenly show up. Right. Darcy has decided to stay in England with her. Beautiful.
Because the friends were like, dude, let's just go to Paris. Forget about Darcy, because clearly he chose someone else over you, and
so you can back off. Yes.
Right.
So it becomes a perfect moment.
Right.
Even the music is perfect. They go upstairs, and as she's getting comfortable, we see him reading her diary, of all things. Yes. The catalyst of the movie. And as he reads, he gets incredibly pissed off. It gives that old British right, and then he walks out.
Because I think that it said something like, No wonder why his wife left him or something.
Yes.
And yeah, with Colinfirth and his voice is like, right. And then
which is an awesome twist because it undermines that whole classic trope.
right.
What we were expecting after all that build-up, it turns out, again, a twist on a twist. He was never leaving in the first place, which gives us a wonderful ending.
Yeah.
This is a super funny movie that shows a lot of Renee Zellweger's artistic power. She's funny, she's awkward, she's very human in this movie.
Yes.
I would say this movie holds up far better than I thought it would. So I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. The positives definitely outweigh the negatives. Colinfirth basically plays himself in a way, most especially if you watch Pride and Prejudice, just an older version of himself. It is a classic British comedy that definitely has so many strengths and plays strongly into its awkwardness, but I enjoyed myself a lot with one or two moments where I genuinely laughed out loud. This is a feel-good movie that I'm glad we did for Christmas. I think the reason it didn't get a solid 10 out of 10 is because the love triangle was semi or just a bit off. Even as we feel the characters, the male leads, have great dichotomies with Renee Zellweger's feelings, like that's perfect. I feel like the story itself was painting a bit too obvious a picture. And as for Mr. Darcy's girlfriend, I feel like that was a bit too obvious as well. And I never felt the sense of awkwardness I should have felt that cost him a few points, whereas the general flow won me over. Unlike last week, where some of the parts took away from the total, I would say the sum of all parts added to the total here. So a solid 10 out of 10.
I don't know. I'll give it. I agree with everything you said, but I'll give it an 8 instead of a 7.
Okay.
I think, like you said, everything that you mentioned for me.
Yeah.
Look, I've never been privy to Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
But it's like after seeing this movie, I think Bride and Prejudice came out not so long after.
Well, the Indian one, right?
Pardon?
Is that the Indian one?
It's the Indian one, yeah.
Okay.
And I personally felt like, whoa, wait, why are they stealing from Bridget Jones? Even Generations did stole something like this with this whole, no, that's not what happened. Actually, this guy slept with my, I'm like, Bridget Jones, only to find out that it's actually Pride and Prejudice. You know what I mean? But, man, for me, it's just one of those movies that I don't get tired of watching. And it's a movie that I shouldn't watch a lot. It's just a movie that I need to watch like every 5 or 10 years, and it still hits.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm gonna blow your mind when you watch when you watch Pride and Prejudice. You're gonna give that one a 9. Watch. But we'll see.
Okay, no, it's definitely a movie that we need to watch soon.
Yeah, rightly one, yeah.
So, guys, please let us know what you think of the movie. Rob gave it a 7. I gave it an 8. Do you guys disagree? Do you guys agree? Who was your favorite character? Who is the worst character? Do you think that an actor could have replaced any of the characters that we have in the film? Rob says no. I say no as well. But we don't know what you guys think. Yeah. But let us know your thoughts. Give us your ratings. And this is. Is there something that you want to say, Rob?
I was gonna say, if you like my background, please consider reading my book, Jin's War. It'll be out very soon. For some reason, it's taking long to print out, but keep an eye on that. It should be out by the time you see this, hopefully.
Awesome. Yeah, you can see the man writes notes like nobody's business. I cannot do that to save my life. I can attempt, but he does it in a day. I don't know how he does it. So yeah, please check out his book. Get yourself a copy. And if you do get yourself a copy, please do contact him and let him know your thoughts about the book. So yeah, this is African Frame, and we just did our first rom-com. So from myself, Mr. Gordon, and from Rob Sibeko, we will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.